The room changed when he arrived. Every time. He had a thunderous laugh and an infectious smile, which I'll never forget. He did have a couple of qualities which were interesting. He had an unequaled competitive spirit, and he had a tendency to worry. Worry and competitive. Poor Swedish boy. Came over with Swedish immigrants to New York. His blood father selfishly took his life when he was 8 years old. He had a grandfather that was not a nice person. I learned as I got a little bit older that some of what I thought were his iniquities were his defense systems and his way to navigate through life. How he was a fatherless boy in a tough household, was not dealt a good card of hands to start his life off. How he navigated when he was young, I don't know. Sometimes these things came out the wrong way, but it was only because he worried for others and cared for others and loved others. Fortunately, he had a loving mother, and another father came into his life, and he was very loving, and I'm very thankful for that. In between my junior and senior year of high school, he went through a really difficult time in his life. One of the most difficult, and he basically had a type of breakdown. Already was at college, and Mom and I were at home, and he couldn't function. He couldn't help himself. He couldn't go to work. He couldn't leave the table. He was shaking like a leaf, and he was on a lot of meds, and it was a mess. And when I saw my father, who was always a lion, become a lamb, at that moment in his life, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it then, but I understand it now. God broke him down so we could build him up. And I saw Jesus put my father over his shoulders as the lamb he had become. Before that time in my life, my dad never prayed with me. He never asked me to pray with him. During a very, very difficult, trying period, he asked me to pray for him. And Mom and I prayed many times together. And he asked me to pray with him. And that was a defining moment of his life. Because he rose like a phoenix from the ashes. He was a bird with 2 broken wings. But when he came out, he could fly. That was the day my father found his faith in the Lord. I'm very thankful for that. I didn't understand it when I was young, but I understand it now. Because my spirituality was up in the air too. He did. Sorry. And moving forward. We shared victory, lost, and laughter together. Victories when I threw my first no-hitter. Victory when Artie and I pulled up in the Keys in the boat with a cooler full of lobster. That was unconscionable to him at the time, but I'll never forget the look on his face. When I won my first golf tournament, my dad was there to celebrate with me. And then sometimes his competitive spirit rose up and came out harsher than expected. When I was 8 years old, we were on the last hole, and I had never beaten him in golf before. And I had 6 foot putt to win by 1 stroke with my father. He's still trying to get in my head to make me choke. Many times, I won many golf tournaments, and the talk track on the way to the golf course was, "Darn it, Eric, you have to win the golf tournament because I don't want the old farts to win the money." When he hooked into a redfish at Rance Pier during a severe tropical storm, my brother and I were with my dad and Don Archer, and he caught the biggest redfish of his life, but we were on a pier about 40 feet below the surf. And he asked us to jump down and get the fish. Don Archer actually jumped down and got the fish out of the ocean. Because if he didn't, I think he was going to hurt him. It was a great moment when my brother was wrestling in the high school tournament. And he beat Mono in 3 OTs to win the match. And that was a glorious moment, and we celebrated. He also chased me around the car when I got in after curfew in the garage, and he couldn't find me. It was pretty fun. It wasn't funny then, but it's funny now. Many times surf casting, Artie and I'd pull up fish to the shore, and he would dive for the fish, literally in the shells, and incur immense strawberries on his body in order to secure the fish. The hundreds of epic poker, ping pong, and pool games, the many family cookouts, the drift boat trips out of Riviera Beach, it was always victory, and we always had a great time. Trips to the Keys. Hearing his voice among others telling me to throw the ball over the plate. 500 people at a game, I could only hear my dad screaming at me. But we also celebrated and lost too. Fun losses. Classic Anderson Sheedy football game in the last play of the game. We were talking about it yesterday. Pass to James, my dad was covering him. It ran down the sidelines, and there was a gazillion sand spurs, and my dad dove to tackle him on the last play so we could win the game. We lost the game. But it was a great day. He did everything with passion. He loved his wife, his one and only love, so dearly. His true love. He loved all of his family. He loved his baby brother. And he was a great victory for you and him in your life was when you found your true love. And he talked about that a lot. And he was very happy for that. His work, his friends, and later in his life in the Lord that he so honored thereafter. Coming down the finale, guys. John 11:26. I am the resurrection and the life. And whoever believes in me, though he should die, he will come to life. And whoever is alive and believes in me will never die. To die is to gain. To die is to gain. If you have faith in the Lord Jesus, to die is to gain. Romans 10:9, if you declare with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. I am faithful that my Father sits in heaven now. I'm very thankful for that. It wasn't not easy to be my Father's son. But I'm thankful that he was my dad and that he was a father that God assigned to me for my life. And I couldn't have had a better father than that. Selfishly, I'm going to miss my dad for the rest of my life. I ended on these words. These are for everybody here. As I'm crying. Weep not for me now that I have passed. Remember the laughter, affection, and joy. Not just recent tears. Cherish the memories, our hopes and dreams. Hold fast to the love we shared. I'm not really gone. I'm closer than ever before. As the morning sun rises and throughout the busy day, I'm with you. The stars that shine so brightly in my heavenly sky help me watch over you and keep you from harm. Think about that as a guardian angel. What a guardian angel would have. I am the wind in the trees and the song of a bird. When the setting sun has gone away and the shadow fill the night, I will be your morning light. Just look into the moonlight. You'll find me lingering there. Listen to the wind from my message of love. So when you feel discouraged, get on your knees and pray. You will tell me there beside you, I am just a breath away. I am here. Have no fear. I am with you always.
Thank you.